Believe it or not, just as recent as 2015, I was a salary earner. My salary back then, by the way, was not a lot. It was around 81,000 naira, if I remember correctly. And here are some of the techniques that I employed to be able to actually have enough money, regardless of what my salary was and what the situation of the economy was at the time. Number one, you have to create realistic savings targets, right? My salary was 82,000 naira. Shooting to save 50,000 naira a month would have been ridiculous. Now, granted, I had other sources of income because I was freelancing on the side of my 9 to 5. But at the same time, it would be completely ridiculous for me to be earning 82,000 naira and expect to save 50,000 naira. Somewhere around 20,000 to 30,000 naira a month in savings made sense at that time. And that was what I was gunning for. So you need to be realistic with your expectations based on the amount you're actually making. Of course, if you want to factor in your other things that you're doing to make money, you can, if they're actually consistent and they're not go come type of income strategies, right? But it is very important that you stay focused and you don't overexpose yourself by trying to save too much. The second thing you want to do is to make sure you actually automate your savings. So when you know that this is the particular day I get money in a month, you want to set all your apps up like RiseVest, Bamboo, Piggyvest, Cowrywise, whatever it is you like to use. Set it up in a way that it actually takes that money out on that day immediately before you get a chance to actually touch it. That way your money has gone into your savings and it protects you. Another thing you can do is to use applications like Kuda, because I actually use Kuda, and save a certain percentage of everything you spend. In my case, for every expense I make with my Kuda card or on my Kuda account, I save 10%. If you're ever in a rainy day and you feel like, oh, I need money, I don't have money, blah, 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 you only have to swipe into your spend and save wallet, or I don't know what that thing is called. It's like a section where they keep the savings, and then you see a bunch of money that has been saved up for you because you've been saving up 10% of your money. Do you understand? And number 3 is you want to actually make sure you track your expenses to know where you can cut down costs. A lot of people don't realize that some of the most ridiculous things are what are taking up or eating up all their money. For example, you're a salary earner. There's no reason why you're flying Uber everywhere, except your salary is really, really huge, right? That's, God bless you. I'm happy for you. But if you're earning reasonable wage like the rest of us who are actually toiling men, it is very important for you to not overextend yourself when it comes to these little expenses. Some people refuse to cook and they eat out all the time, but their salary is not really conducive for stuff like this, and then they end up having to borrow money against their next salary, and then they pay that back, and then they borrow even more, and then it just continues like this. This is no way to live, and you want to make sure that you actually track your expenses, know what you're spending on every month, and then you know where you can cut down or where you need to cut down to be able to make it to the end of every month without completely dying. The fourth thing I'll suggest you try is something called the 50-20-30 rule, right? This is how you take 50% of your money, and that is like your main, that's what you basically survive on, right? 20% of your money goes into like an emergency fund that you never touch, and 30% of your money goes into like your rainy day fund. That's like the money you keep aside in case something goes wrong that you can touch it. And then the other 20% is money that you never touch. That money is just there in case the world is ending and then you need to go to the moon or whatever, right? That works for some people. For some other people, it doesn't work. I'll tell you what works for me. This is something I like to call the 70-30 rule. Immediately any money comes in, before I even do any budgeting, 30% of that money is not my own. I put it somewhere. It just goes away. Immediately, the very first transaction I make is to take 30% out of my money and put it somewhere else. Now the 70% that is left is what I consider money that I can use to make more money. So essentially, inside of that money is where my spending allowance comes out of. Inside of that money is where money for fuel and gas and all these other things comes out of. Inside of that remaining 70% is where my savings comes out from. The money that is not my own just continues to go somewhere else, and God forbid it ever comes to a time when things get really bad, you can actually go there and then, get money out of it. Because there's something we always say as Nigerians, right? You are one sickness away from abject poverty. Essentially, you see somebody who is doing completely fine and they fall sick, and all of a sudden they're crowdfunding and they need money to go abroad for treatment and all that stuff. You don't want to be that guy. So you want to always make sure that you're prepared for a situation like that. This number 5 item is actually the life hack of the century. A lot of people don't know this, probably because of financial constraints, but it's important for you to know that if you buy things in bulk, you actually get them significantly cheaper. Yes, I said significantly cheaper. It's actually cheaper for you to buy a bag of rice and eat it gradually than it is for you to be buying 1 derica of rice every other time, or 2 dericas of rice every time you want to cook, or a Congo of rice. It's just more economical to buy the bulk because the people who sell to you buy that bulk and then they sell it at a profit, and the profit is usually not small. And one thing I've realized with a lot of people who sell stuff, even if it's tomatoes, if it's meat, if it's whatever, when you're buying more, they tend to give you more discounts. And then when you calculate the discounts over the size of the quantity that you bought, then you realize just how much money you're saving if you were buying even less. You can buy in bulk, then store, and then, but then this might seem a little out of touch because not everybody can afford to buy in bulk. So I would say when you can afford to, make sure you actually buy in bulk because it's going to save you money in the long run. And the last item is the very obvious one, the elephant in the room that nobody really wants to address. It's saving your money in a stable coin. You probably know, I'm sure everybody knows this, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but you really shouldn't be saving all your money in the Naira. I'm not saying don't save at all in the Naira. I'm simply saying a huge percentage of your portfolio should not be saved in the Naira because anything can happen at any time. So make sure you save in a stable coin or a stable currency, right? If you're somebody who is crypto savvy, you can save in your USDT. Whatever the case, whatever works for you, great, congratulations. But if you're not crypto savvy, right, you want to make sure you're saving in the US dollar. Applications like RiseVest, like Bamboo, even PiggyVest these days, I believe, allows you to actually save your money in USD. And that can actually be kept there for you. So no matter what happens, if the dollar rises and flies up to 5,000 Naira per dollar, doesn't make any difference to you. And this is a final bonus tip that wasn't written in any book anywhere. You're not gonna like it, but just make more money. Because if you make more money, you wouldn't have to be struggling financially. And I promise you that is not out of touch. Yes, it's possible for you to actually work harder than you're working right now. It's possible for you to have a 9-to-5 and have a side hustle. It's possible for you to create passive income channels while you're also still doing a 9-to-5 every single day. You're welcome.